Okay, so today we're looking at self-discipline. And throughout this module, what we've been talking about for the benefit of those of us who haven't been coming regularly, what we've been talking about is issues that has to do with self that now becomes a problem when we enter into relationships. And we say that often the problems you have in your relationships didn't begin in your relationships. You had those problems, you just didn't know that you had those problems. And then when you got into the relationship, the fact that you are in proximity with another person basically welled up that which was already in the inside of you. There's the way Noel Jones puts it. He said, the woman will look at the man, I didn't know that you were like this until I married you. And then the man will say, I didn't know that I was like this until I married you. Amen. Because self is the foundation of all relationships. We learned that from the very beginning. And the problems you have with yourself ultimately will show up in your relationships, whether you like it or not. It's like a problem with the foundation will show up in the building as a crack, as a weak structure, or as water seeping through the wall. It's not the building itself that has a problem initially, it's actually the foundation that was not laid properly. And self is the foundation of all relationships. And so we've been dealing with different aspects or different attributes, things that we should imbibe or build, and things that we should let go or cut off from our lives or from our persons in order to be able to have a sound or a healthy relationship. And for me, amongst all the things that we've been discussing, right, I think this is very, very key. Self-discipline. So many interesting things that we've talked about already. But this is fundamental. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is fundamental. When you do not have self-discipline, you are like a city that does not have a wall around it, the Bible days. Then everything can enter into it. Right? Everything can attack it and everything can get into it because there is no control, there is no wall around it. So self-discipline is very, very important. In my opinion, it is the most important thing. Even if you have no intention to get into a love relationship or ever get married, like some of us, you change your mind. Even if you have no intention of ever getting into a relationship, you still require self-discipline. Amen. Because without it, you will not do well in life. And it's not a cause. It's not demons from your father's house that are chasing you. If you do not have self-discipline, you cannot make progress in life. And if you make some progress in life, it will be limited and it will be short-lived. Just saying. Because self-discipline cuts across all of life facets. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you require self-discipline. You require that ability to be able to discipline yourself. You need it for yourself first, and then you need it in your relationships. In fact, the only way you can have it in your relationship is to have it first of all in yourself. Remember, self is the foundation of all relationships. So if you do not have that ability to be self-disciplined, then you cannot have it in your relationship, and you will see later on when we talk about this. And that's why we're dealing with self-discipline, because it's very, very, very important. Right? And let's look at some definitions of self-discipline. I have 3 or 4 of them now. The first one is self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. That's self-discipline. That ability to control your feeling and to overcome your weaknesses. So you have feelings and you have weaknesses. All of us have feelings, hello, and all of us have weaknesses because there are no perfect people on earth. Every one of us has got a flaw, including yours sincerely, right? Every one of us has got a flaw. But that ability to control the way we feel and control or overcome our weaknesses, that is what is called self-discipline. Let's look at another definition. It says self-discipline is the disciplining of or controlling of oneself or one's desires, actions, habits, response. Right? So the first one we said it is the ability to control one's feeling and overcomes one's weaknesses. Right? So this just makes it more elaborate when it tells us that it is that ability to discipline or control yourself, your desires, your actions, the things that you do, the things that you want, and the things that you do, your habits, and the way you respond. That's self-discipline. One more definition. So self-discipline is the ability to control yourself and to make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing anyone else to tell you what to do. No, slight variation, slight difference. Here is emphasizing the fact that it is self-discipline when you can apply it to yourself and manifest it without an external influence. Hello? You know, discipline can be enforced externally. That is from the outside. Soldiers, when they are recruited, the first thing they do is that they are not disciplined in the first instance. It is initially they enforce discipline on them, right? Make them wake up very early in the morning at maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock, blow the whistle and you must wake up every night. You don't know exactly when you're going to wake up, but you have to be ready to wake up. That's when you're in boot camp, right? And then once you wake up, you're in your shorts and they make you to run 10 kilometers. As you wake up in the morning, you just start on where you don't even, there's no daybreak, you just keep running. Because you know that if you don't run, something's going to happen to you, right? Something worse than running is going to happen to you. That's external, right? It's only after a while that then it now becomes, they become used to it. They imbibe the discipline that is from outside and then it becomes internalized. And so now, whether they have their warrant officer with them or not, they act in a disciplined manner. That's if they have imbibed it. A child is compelled to do chores at home. Because the mother insists, go and wash the plate. He doesn't want to wash the plate. Left to him alone, he will eat and leave the plate on the table, right? And go to his room and go and play games. But because his mother insists, come on, take your plate, go and wash it, and then he now goes there and he washes it. That's not self-discipline. That's discipline enforced externally, right? It is not self-discipline if you need an external factor, a person to drive you to manifest it. If the only reason why you come early to work is simply because you are afraid that they're going to find you, you're not self-disciplined. It's external. Is that okay? Right. But if you come to work because you value or you have realized the importance of coming or being on time, and you're doing it for yourself, not necessarily because you're afraid of anything, that's when it becomes self-discipline. That's what that is saying. Self-discipline is the ability to control yourself and to make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing anyone else to tell you what to do. Exercising at home by yourself without a gym instructor, that takes self-discipline. Right? All right. So that there are some words that are synonyms of self-discipline, and so I'm going to look at them so that you understand that as we talk, it's possible that I may use self-control or self-will, or I use drive, or use it. So one of the words that's it's a close synonym of self-discipline is self-control. Self what? Self-control. And it means the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, especially in difficult situations. That's self-control. It's the same thing as self-discipline. Synonym. When you say synonym, that means they imply the same thing, right? So I can interchange the words. The ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires. So self-control deals with more of your emotions and your desires, especially in difficult situations. Self-mastery. The ability to take control of one's life without being blown off course by feelings, urges, circumstances. Self-mastery. So I set a course for myself and I continue on that course in spite of how I feel, in spite of what happens to me, in spite of external forces trying to derail me. Cause a detour in my journey. I set a focus on myself. I have mastered my body. I have gotten my body to the point where it obeys my mind. Right? Whatever I tell my body to do, that's what my body does. So even if my body does not feel like waking up in the morning and going to run, I'm able to wake up and sit on the bed and say it's time to go and run. And my body will say, okay, yeah, let's go, Oga. That's self-mastery. Same thing as self-discipline. Am I making sense to you? So we're looking at just synonyms, things that are basically the same thing as self-discipline. Self-restraints. This is the restraint imposed by oneself on one's own actions. Same thing as self-control. So I put a boundary around the things that I can and cannot do. Right? I place a boundary around this is what I can do and this is what I am not allowed to do. Nobody is enforcing that boundary. I am the one that placed the boundary and I am the one enforcing that boundary. In Hausa, they when you put a bait, like this is that they used to hold horses, what do they call it? Not saddle. They put it in the mouth of horses and then they use it to control them, right? Takokumi or something like that. That's what the Hausa people call it. That is something like, so it's a restraint that is used to control the horse, right? Now it is you restraining yourself, placing a restraint on yourself and on your actions. That's self-discipline. Amen. Willpower. That's another synonym. Doesn't sound like it, but that's another synonym. It's control also exerted to do something or restrain impulses. That's willpower. When I exercise my willpower, right? I am refusing and putting control on myself and I'm refusing to carry out an impulse. Willpower. Self-drive. That is motivation to do or achieve something because of one's own enthusiasm or interest. Self-motivated, right? That's part of self-discipline. So self-discipline encompasses all of these things that we've talked about. Pointed out: self-control, self-mastery, self-restraint, willpower, and self-drive. So psychologists typically define self-control as the ability to control behaviors in order to avoid temptations and to achieve goals. So you look at literature, that's how they define it. They say the ability to control behaviors in order to avoid temptations and to achieve goals. We'll elaborate more on that. Avoiding temptations and achieving goals. That's why I said that self-control or self-discipline cuts across, right? It's not just about relationship, but it's important for a person to imbibe it if he wants to have a prosperous relationship. So it is the ability to control behaviors in order to avoid temptations and to achieve your set goals. It is the ability to delay gratification and resist unwanted behaviors or urges. Delayed gratification. The ability not to eat the pie now. Even though you feel like eating it. And waiting to the right time to eat it. The ability not to spend your money now, right? And invest it. And then wait until the right time to be able to use it. Delayed gratification. That's self-control. Amen.